Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, and we do it commercial free. I'm Rebecca Peters, your co-host, all the way from England, and speaking the Queen's English. And of course, introducing your host, financial expert, and longtime consumer advocate, Derrick Evans.
Hey, thanks for the introduction. I appreciate that. I've never been introduced. I feel a little weird.
Yeah, now you know how I feel.
I don't know. You did a great job, though. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone who's been listening to the show, following us on Facebook. The questions have been awesome. We have more questions to get to today as well. My doctor.
Your doctor.
My doctor is here today.
Oh, your doctor's
She's
here.
our first guest.
Well, before we get into that, you have some news about some reality show that I have no idea about.
Oh, yes, you heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go ahead and tell everybody.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's time. I mean, there's already been casting calls are going on right now, so we are creating a reality show. It's about the home selling process. It's kind of the story behind why a home is being sold.
Okay.
But the reason that we're doing it is because we want to teach people how to navigate the home sale process.
Okay.
In other words, a lot of times right now in the industry, when people go to hire a real estate agent, they're not really quite sure what their rights are, what the options are, or how they should go about asking questions and getting the most value for the experience.
Right.
And it's very expensive to sell a home. It's 8% cost of sale pretty much. So if you're selling a $500,000 house, you're gonna spend $40,000 in costs. So what are you getting for your $40,000? That's very important to understand and also to maximize it. So what we're gonna do is we've created a show. We're doing a casting call right now. So if anyone is looking to sell their home in the next 6 months and you'd like to potentially be on our new reality show called Selling San Diego, just go to the website on the screen and you can fill out the form there and I will contact you myself to talk about it. I've already talked about a dozen people. It's been really amazing. We have some great storylines potentially out there. We are still taking applications for the fiscal 2016 year to shoot shows. It's going to be really, really cool. I'm going to have a great time with it because this is what I've been doing for the past decade anyway in San Diego. And it's going to be a little bit more real than anything we've ever done. So the reality show, Selling San Diego, will be on the air in about 3 months.
Okay.
So when the first episode will air.
Coming soon?
It's coming soon, and it's going to be really cool. So it'll be fun. I'll essentially be the advisor for the person who's selling their home, and I will teach them how to select a real estate agent, how to maximize value, how to negotiate all the aspects, how to list the home, all that stuff, along with the agent that they ultimately choose. So imagine the love connection meets the real estate world. That's kind of what we're creating, except for in this case, Chuck Woolery would be going on the dates with you to make sure that everything goes okay.
Okay.
So kind of like that. But that is happening right now. It is very exciting. There's a lot of work to be done. And speaking of which, we have a lot of questions to answer too, so let's get to those.
Yes, we do. So, Robin Escondido is kind of on the same page as me at the moment. I just checked my credit report and there are several collections for small dollar amounts. What should I do? Pay them off or fight it with the credit bureaus?
Yeah, this happens to so many people. Parking tickets, by the way, San Diegans, if you don't pay your parking tickets, they send them to collections. It crushes your credit score. Always pay your parking tickets. I know what it feels like to get one, want to grab it and throw it in the trash immediately. Do not do that. Pay it right away. Otherwise, it'll go from $42 to $140, and they will hit your credit report with a collection. It'll crush your credit score. Here's the problem. Once the collections are already on the credit report, the damage is done.
Yep.
The only way that you can sort of alleviate that issue is to remove them or let time pass. Getting them removed is extremely difficult and highly unlikely. So here's what you should do, Rob. If they're small dollar amounts and they're recent, go ahead and pay them off because you're not going to do any more damage. But if they're old, just leave them. Because what happens is if they're old and it's for $28 and you go and you pay it off, it re-ages it on your credit report.
So what's old?
Old means more than 6 months, or definitely more than a year.
Okay.
If it's more than a year old, it's old, and it's sort of not hurting your credit score as much anymore. When collections are fresh is when they hurt the most. And when you pay off an old collection, it re-ages it. And what I mean by that is it changes the most recent activity date to right now and makes the credit scoring model think that it just happened, even though it might be 6 or 7 years old. So whatever you do, take a look at the date of last activity on those accounts before you pay any of them off. If they're recent, go ahead and pay them off. If they're not, don't. Next one.
Kay in La Costa wants to know, should I refinance if I can save $120 a month? My mortgage is over $600,000 and we've had it for 3 years. Seems like it's not worth starting 30 years over again just for $120 a month, but my loan officer is really convincing.
Well, there's a lot of ways you can make that look really good on paper. So if you have a $600,000 mortgage, $120 a month, here's would be my suggestion for Kay and the Costa would be to take a look at doing a lower term. You don't want to ever restart your mortgage. Okay, so if you get a 30-year loan and you ever want to refinance, never refinance back to a 30-year loan. Refinance to a 25-year loan, to a 20-year loan. So you can save $120 a month. This would be a much smarter move for her to make, especially 3 years in. Get a 25-year loan. I bet the payment would be the same or less still, but she'd be saving 2 years of making payments. If she's making payments on a $600,000 mortgage, we're talking about probably $40,000 a year in payments. That'd save her $80,000 in cold hard net after tax cash.
There you go.
That's the way to go about it. It's not about the $120 a month. It's about the big dollar amount, the amount that you're paying over time. That's what you want to try to save money on, not monthly payments. She could go backwards in her loan and save money per month, but end up paying more in the long run. So you got to look at the long-term cost when you're looking at stuff like that, Kay. Don't go backwards. 25-year, look at the 20-year. If you can afford the 20-year, get that and save yourself a ton. Next.
Next. Christina in La Mesa wants to know, what is the best way to save for a child's college fund? The 529 plan, possibly?
Yeah, everyone likes the 529. Here's the thing. If you have multiple children, do the 529. And consult a financial advisor about this at all times. But if you have multiple children, get the 529 because let's say Bobby Joe gets a full ride football scholarship and you saved all this money for him because he was the first child and he was the one who had the plan. Well, now if you just put in a savings account or whatever, that's fine. You know, you don't get any tax benefits, but you could use it wherever you wanted to. If you put it into a 529 versus a UTMA, for example, then you could roll that money over to the next child.
There you go.
And you can split it amongst the children. So it's more flexible if you have multiple kids. If you just have one kid, like I do, you can do a UTMA, and it's effectively going to ultimately sort of net you the same thing. There are some advantages to doing the 529 though still, but I like the flexibility of the UTMA that I have as far as where the investments go, how the money comes out, and so on and so forth. So is it a 529 plan? Yes, if you have multiple kids. If you don't, you should consider other options, but consult your financial advisor. It's not always the 529 that's going to be best.
All right.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
You ready to get the show started?
The show, yeah.
So my doctor's coming on right now, Pega Homayun.
Yes.
She is a medical doctor, went through medical school, and chose to practice acupuncture and Eastern healing instead.
I'm really interested to see how this
Very
is
cool.
all playing together.
Very, very cool.
Sounds really interesting.
Coming up next, I'm going to get my jacket on. It's time to start the show.